G'day folks, today we are joined by Luke Hines. He's an author of 9 best-selling cookbooks. He was on My Kitchen Rules back in the day and is a celebrity trainer, athlete and foodie, and you can see him on the House of Wellness on Channel 7 every Sunday at 12 p.m. Now, many Australians are binge eating, hanging around the home for more work and eating the wrong type of foods and a bit uncertain in the way of the COVID-19 situation. Luke will give us some great tips today on healthy eating and how to help improve your mental health as well. I'm looking forward to hearing what Luke has to say, plus much more on Legends with Bevo.
Welcome to Legends with Bevo. Thanks to the Holdy, Coopers, Anytime Fitness Glenelg, and Paradise Mazda. And now, here's your host, Bevo.
Luke Hines, great to have you on Legends with Bevo, mate. What have you been up to keep yourself busy during this COVID-19 situation?
Absolutely, Bevan. There's no better time than actually to focus on a little bit of self-love at this time. We've all kind of spent the last few years getting busier and busier, and we use stress almost like a badge of honor. So it's really nice that we've been forced to stay in one place and we go, hang on, I've got who I am, what I've kind of got directly around me, and that's it. What can I do with that? So I think people, and I in particular, have been sleeping a lot more. I've been trying to move more, walk more. And it's funny, you probably saw that in your neighborhood, more people are enjoying just being outdoors in the current time frame. So it's been a really, really good time for me just to kind of reconnect and ground myself.
Yeah, a lot of people have been doing the same thing, like you said. And I myself agree with you on that one with the exercise, because I've been doing a bit of a lot more riding, running and stuff like that because with the gyms being closed. And I'm amazed at the amount of people. It's been like the old days with all these people out and about, getting out with their families, going, running, cycling. I think it's just wonderful.
Mate, absolutely. You can't help but have a smile on your face when you head down to the local park and it's just thriving with so many people doing stuff.
Yeah, that's been definitely one of the cool things for sure. Hey, just a question in terms of, obviously a lot of people, have been binge eating, let's just say, being at home a lot more and found themselves in front of the telly watching Netflix or whatever and eating the wrong types of food. But how does this sort of affect your mental health?
Yeah, look, it's a really good question. We use food as a crutch in life. I mean, you can imagine that classic breakup scene in a movie where the character breaks up with their partner, they head back to their apartment, and what are they doing? They're powering through a big tub of ice cream. Food represents comfort. All right. Now, in the last few months, we've been feeling discomfort with a change in finances, a change in work, a change in relationships, a change in how we move around. So we've been in this incredible state of discomfort. So a lot of people I've spoken to, and I experienced it myself first when lockdown first started, is it's a form of comfort. Food is a form of emotional support. People feel good when they eat certain foods. And then certain ingredients in foods trigger certain behaviors. So for example, chocolate. Chocolate is delicious, but the combination of the sugars and the different chemicals found in chocolate themselves are feel-good receptors. They get our whole kind of body feeling fantastic and in ourselves. And it's interesting if we look at the direct effect that food has on mental health. If you looked at people's diets over the last 3 months, there would be a sense of comfort and foods that try to make us feel good. Whether they're good for us or not, that's another question.
Yeah, I'm definitely been guilty of that, especially the chocolates and the iced coffees. I love my iced coffees over here in South Australia. There's lots to choose from as well. But like I said, it's all in moderation.
Yeah.
So what sort of tips do you have, I guess, to help people with their diets to improve their mental health?
All right, there's a few things. First off, we should never use food. Food can be fuel, or food can be a form of a drug. Food can be something that's addictive, or food can be something that's really nourishing for ourselves. So what we need to do first off is have a really healthy relationship with food. Okay, so whatever point we're at in our life, whether we're needing to lose weight, whether we need to gain weight, whether we need to maybe cut out some certain things to be more healthy, we need to make sure that whatever that relationship is with food, it's really positive, that we look at it in a really good way, because it does have a direct effect on our mental health. So let me give you an example. If you've got someone who has been suffering maybe feelings of anxiety, one thing they might do is they might use food as that crutch, as that comfort. But unfortunately, those food choices might be riddled with processed and refined ingredients that are therefore creating a chemical imbalance in their body. Now, where does our health and our immunity and our mental health start? It starts in our gut. Good gut health. They call our gut our second brain because it is so powerful with all the organisms in there that it does have a direct link to how we feel. Now, if we fuel our body with bad food, what happens is we create a really bad gut environment, which can affect our mental health. So if we strip things back, every time we eat something, we need to be mindful that it's going to be providing, obviously, nourishment, but it's going to be good for our mental and physical well-being. So as you said, you asked for a tip. First things first is look for nutrient density, okay? We could look down into any supermarket, right? And if we go through all the aisles, there'll be a lot of packaged, processed and refined foods. They're the ones we're wanting to limit and avoid. What we want to do is look for nutrient-dense whole foods, which are the ones that don't really require a packet, and the only ingredient is their own ingredient. So the ingredients in a banana is a banana. That's what we're looking for, because it's when we start eating with that real food that our mental health really does start to turn around, because when you eat better, you start to think and feel better. And when you start to think and feel better, you start to move better. And when you start to move better, you therefore eat better. And it becomes this cycle that works together in synergy.
Okay, interesting. And in terms of healthy lifestyle, Luke, how does healthy lifestyle, I guess, with fitness, mind, and food, how do they all collaborate with each other and sort of help people out in that way?
Well, first things first, you can't have one without the other and expect to be truly healthy. So you can have someone who eats the healthiest food on the planet, but doesn't move and has an unhealthy headspace. They're not going to be what we call well. Then you might have someone who eats pretty bad food, but trains themselves to oblivion and thinks really positive. Again, they got some things going on, but they're not going to be truly well. So what I say is find synergy between the meals, the mindset, and the moves. That means celebrating and focusing on nutrient-dense meals, cultivating a positive mindset through different techniques like mindfulness, and then obviously moving your body in a way that you enjoy each and every day. When you tick off the meals, mindset, and moves, and they work together, then you're giving your body and your mind the best chance to be truly well.
In terms of technology, Luke, as we just saw before, myself with having a few Zoom issues can be very, very frustrating, but it can also be a positive as well. How can technology boost your mental health within 25 minutes?
Well, it's a really good question. Something that I have known to be really, really beneficial for my well-being is practicing mindfulness. Because I find I get myself really overwhelmed. I travel a lot for work. I find I've got a lot going on. My phone is binging with social media. My emails are going off on my laptop. I think we're in a really connected world. And if we can reframe the use of our devices for good, then I think it's a fantastic positive step in the right direction. So I've actually started doing 25 minutes of mindfulness every day with an app called Synctuition. Now, it's funny that it's taking this app for me to do it every day. But the reason it's really helped me is that even though I've known for so many years that mindfulness benefits my mental health, having a routine of going into the app and knowing that there's going to be a 25-minute audio journey to do each day keeps me on track. And look, I've seen that there's different kind of mindfulness and meditation apps out there over the years. But for me, I kind of like the fact that it's a bit of an adventure. It's almost like a movie in your mind. I'm quite creative in my thoughts. And when I found out that mindfulness was allowing your thoughts to come in freely, but then leave freely without feeling like your mind has to be empty or without feeling like you have to force certain thoughts, I found Synctuition really great because there's over 100 different really exciting but also relaxing audio journeys that are backed by science. So it's not just about nice music to listen to, but they're backed by science and they integrate, which is really interesting and why you can see my big headphones here. But it's one of the first to integrate technologies such as gamma wave binaural beats, which essentially is this 3D sound experience. So when you put your headphones on and you play your 25 minutes of your mindfulness, it's incredible. You can't help but be in that present moment. And that's what mindfulness is all about.
Yeah, cool. And we'll talk about Synctuition in a moment because it's actually going gangbusters, not only in Australia, but around America as well. It's the third highest grossing app in America, which is phenomenal, Luke. So well done to you on that one, mate. But we'll get to that in a moment because we're going to give one lucky listener the chance to win a year's subscription to this great app. So we'll talk about how to do that afterwards.
Awesome. Lucky listener.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also want to ask you about something we talked about a little bit earlier was chocolate and sugar. And, I personally am guilty of this. I love my lollies and chocolate, obviously in moderation. But a lot of people get hungry at sort of 3:30 in the afternoon. They might be work during a 9 to 5 day, and they want to have a snack, and they decide to go and get a bit of chocolate or a shit like some lollies or something like that. But it's not really good for you, though, Luke. Why is that the case?
All right, so let's break it down. First thing you said was chocolate. Obviously, when it comes to chocolate, there can be chocolate that's not so good for us, and there can be chocolate that's fantastic for us. So we can have chocolate. Okay, so the fact that we have to avoid chocolate altogether is a bit of a myth, but we can have healthy chocolate. So what we want to look for with chocolate is an 80% dark chocolate or above. Now, I know many people go, oh, that sounds bitter. But trust me, once you change your taste buds and you no longer crave that sweet sugar all the time, 80% or above dark chocolate's absolutely incredible. Now, the reason we're focusing on that is because it's high in magnesium in the form of raw cacao. It means the more cacao that's in that chocolate, the less room there is for fillers, for thickeners, and for sugars, okay? And then when it comes to the lollies, lollies are just pure refined sugar that are going to give us that peak energetically up, and then what goes up must come down. So we've got the crash. Now, that can affect our mood as well. So what we want to do is we want to look for nature's fruit, nature's sugar, which is your things like your apples, your bananas, your berries. All those kind of nature's natural chocolate bars and sweets are right there that you can pick from a tree.
In terms of lollies, any that you recommend there?
Look, when it comes to those, it's funny. I wouldn't necessarily recommend lollies in a sense that a lot of them are processed and refined. But if you're someone who does feel they need something like that from time to time, the key is understanding your limitations and knowing that it's not an everyday food. So it's being important that we're not kind of demonizing anything here or creating a negative relationship. It's more about making sure that what we do have, we have in moderation if we know that it's not that great for us. And the other alternative to that is, rather than me suggesting that you have lollies, once in a blue moon, what about we just change the headspace there and say, well, instead of lollies, I'm going to find something that I find equally as delicious that might be a little bit better for me. So it might be some mixed berries and a yogurt cup of an afternoon, which still give you that sweet treat hit, but it's a lot more beneficial and nutrient dense for you.
Yep, I think you're right, in the right direction with that one.
I know you tried to get some permission there, but I'm sorry.
One thing I must say as well, mate, is with a couple of times a week I work sort of a night shift, so I start at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and but I can't eat to say 9 or 10, so I need a snack to keep me going for those sort of few hours. What's your thoughts on protein shakes? Because I find they give me a bit of a boost, and I'll try and have one that's not too high in sugar. Do you think they're okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting that you said that you don't have one that's too high in sugar and that protein kind of fills you up and gives you a bit of a boost. It's exactly the advice I'd give anyone. So when you're looking for a snack, the things that you want to look for to keep you satiated and keeping you focused, feeling good longer term throughout the day is lowering the processed and refined sugars, but increasing the healthy quality fats and the good quality proteins. So when we're talking about good quality proteins, whether it's a plant-based or a collagen or a whey-based protein that's clean and unsweetened. And then when it comes to the fats, we're talking about nuts, seeds, avocados, olive oil, coconut oil, all of those fantastic ingredients. If we can celebrate those foods, what we're going to do is we're going to feel fuller for longer. And when you feel fuller for longer, you're less likely to reach for those lollies that we're talking about or the sugary chocolate.
Yep, I like it. And what do you enjoy most about living a healthy lifestyle, Luke?
I think the fact that I'm free energetically to live life to the full. I mean, you don't really know how tough it is unless you've experienced either extreme on one end or the other. So, for example, I'm really, really fortunate that I feel extremely healthy the majority of the time, and I get to live life to the full. But I know what happens when I'm unwell. I get taken right back. And it's when I'm in that place of not feeling well that I remind myself going, geez, I'm lucky. Geez, I'm lucky for the majority of my life. I feel really well and I'm capable to take on any of life's challenges. Whereas there's people who feel in a state of unwell or disease for most of their lives that they forget how good feeling good can feel. And it's those people who might benefit from doing mindfulness, from eating well, from cutting out those sugars, from moving more each day to remind themselves how good it feels to feel great.
And we've obviously, we all go through our challenges in life. In high school, I had my challenges with being a young little fella and not sort of getting tall until after year 12 and, getting picked on at high school, and it's made me a stronger person. And you've had your own challenges as well, Luke, and which is just amazing to think that you used to be an overweight kid and the shape you're in now. Sort of how have you dealt with those challenges, and what sort of tips do you have for people that, are being bullied in high school, which is quite common these days, especially with social media?
That things do get better. If I could go back and I could give myself some advice going through high school, going through adolescence, things do and they will get better, and everything will actually be okay. Because there's people who when they're experiencing a bout of darkness in their life, they might feel stuck. They might feel like that's going to be there forever. That's their destiny. How they feel inside is what it's going to be like for the rest of their lives. I can tell them that it's not, that we are all going through our lives. You and I are still going to go through stages in our lives which feel really crappy, right? But that doesn't define us, and it doesn't mean we have to stay like that. So when we get to that point, when we hit rock bottom, it's not the fact that you've hit rock bottom. It's not the fact that you've hit rock bottom. It's the fact that you pick yourself back up. And it's when you pick yourself back up where the growth happens. Yeah,
that's really good advice. And obviously, you're testament to you for what you've done and how good a shape you're in now. And it's really inspiring for those people out there that are struggling with their mental health or their weight. That you can turn things around, like you've proven, and I have as well, in terms of, from my perspective, as being bullied at school. Because you're right, everyone goes through challenges in life, and high school was terrible, but it's only such a short time of your life, and you can turn things around and make things better. And it's made me a stronger person.
Absolutely, mate. It's inspiring. And when you share your story, that is going to inspire so many people, because when they hear that, they go, oh my God, I experienced that too, or I'm going through that right now. And look at what Bevan's doing now. So it gives them that strength.
Yeah, I love it. Before I let you go, because I know you're a very busy man,
That's right.
I'll just mention again Synctuition. So we're giving one lucky listener the chance to win a year's subscription. It's paid at $150 normally, or $15.99 a month, and it's obviously available on all your Apple app stores and Google Plays and these sort of things. Just for the people that are interested in getting involved with the subscription, Luke, what's the benefits of it?
So look, it's specifically designed to help people de-stress, become more positive, and enjoy better sleeping patterns. And I think that's something that we could all benefit for. If you break those three up, one, I would find it hard pressed to find someone who doesn't experience stress. So the fact that you can use this app 25 minutes a day to de-stress, tick. The fact that you can then learn to become more positive, amazing. Because I reckon if I asked a room full of people who wishes they felt more positive, a bunch of hands would be going up, because positivity is something that we're always wanting to work on. And then that last one I touched on, better sleep, my goodness. I cannot tell you how important good quality sleep is. It impacts all elements of our life. You might eat really well and train really hard, but if you're not sleeping, you're letting it all go down by the wayside. And the fact that Synctuition helps you with better sleeping patterns is amazing. And I don't want people to think, oh, where's Synctuition come from? It's actually been 10 years in the making, and it's been put through 100 scientific studies for it to actually work. And I love it. I swear by it.
And the House of Wellness with Luke Darcy, you're doing a great job there, and a few others that you get on every week. I spoke to you off air about this, and you love it, which is just awesome, because it's so good when you're doing something that you love. For those people that don't know much about the show, what's it about, Luke?
Okay, so the House of Wellness airs every Sunday midday on 7, and it's an hour of TV which is hopefully going to give you all the information and inspiration to live your healthiest and happiest life. We meet sports people who are experts in their field. We talk to people about food trends. We talk to people about travel, adventure, feeling good. Everything that's about health, wealth, and being wise is celebrated on the House of Wellness. It's fantastic. And what's great is we all have such a synergy of having fun. And we talked about this off air, that we sit down on that couch every week and we just have a laugh, but we also get the opportunity to share our passions.
Well, you're doing a great job there, mate, and everything around the world as well. 9 best-selling books now. You're absolutely killing it. It's been a pleasure to get you on Legends with Bevo. Thanks for taking the time to have a chat, mate. Thanks to John Warner as well for reaching out and getting you involved in this. And we look forward to speaking again in the future, mate.
I can't wait, mate. I'll be here with bells on. Thank you so much for having me today. I really, really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure, and keep up the great work. And I'm inspired to look as fit as you are. Unbelievable.
Oh, mate, you're there. Don't worry, you're there.
See you, mate. Take care.
See you, mate.